We're here with the legendary Frank DeVar, 1410 5K guy, Pacers manager. We're here at Shoe School, just finished up the weekend. What was your impression, Frank?
I had a lot of fun. I was really impressed with the workers. They were, very affable, apparently, especially seeing as we were kind of, probably disrupting their day. I learned a lot. It's pretty incredible to see how the shoe starts and see the finished product at the end. You're not really expecting how it looks from start to finish. So it was definitely, somewhat of an eye-opening experience.
So you think going back to the store and going back to, pulling shoes in the back room, and do you think you'll have a different perspective every time you open up a shoe box, and now that you know where it came from and where it's going?
I think so, and especially with New Balance shoes, because they are made in America. Seeing the workers firsthand, you see that. These are people in a small town. New Balance, keeps that town afloat. I think it's really important, and I took it for granted for a while, but having it being made in America means a whole lot more after being in the factory.
That's great. What was your impression today when we went to the Sports Research Lab and spent some time with J.F. Fulham, the designer of the 890? I mean, what's your impressions there with what's going forward in New Balance?
He's an impressive guy. He's real smart. You can tell he's very far-reaching in his thinking. Seeing his designs for shoes that are going to be 2 years in advance, and seeing how relevant they would already be today, and how important they're going to be in the future, it's pretty cool.
What would you like to see from New Balance in the next few years that you haven't seen in the industry?
Actually, a lot of what they're doing with future shoes, I really like. Like with the 890s, for example, the upper is very similar to that of a racing flat. I think you could do that with every shoe. I don't think you need those extra pieces. I think the more you strip it down, the better they're going to be. And it looks to be that the new design for New Balance is going to be exactly that. And I like a lot of their initiatives. It's just so that.
Well, thank you very much, Frank. We appreciate coming up and enjoying this experience with me, and look forward to the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with the infamous Chris Farley, the CEO of Pacers.
What's up?
In Northern Virginia, DC, and Maryland. We're just finishing up the Shoe School weekend. What did you think of the experience?
I thought it was great. Thank you, Jordan and Dave and everybody who put this together. I've been in the industry for 10 years and hadn't seen all that it took to put together a single shoe like we did yesterday. And then to know that 4,200 pairs of shoes go out of there on a daily basis is pretty amazing. So I was really impressed with the camaraderie of the team that put together these shoes, process that everybody that went into it. The leadership group that we talked to was impressive, and really kind of made you feel good to see that that these shoes are made in the U.S. and that is still being done, because I know most shoes are not made domestically and it's too expensive to do so. So it's cool to see that New Balance is committed to that.
Now going back, once we get back to DC, I mean, are you going to have a lasting impression about your experience? Is it have a different mindset when it comes to New Balance?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when talking to customers, you're going to have a different perspective now. Me and Frank and Colleen and JT will have a different perspective because there is a lot that goes into the shoes that people don't really understand. And actually doing it is really probably the only way that you really understand it. Our customers don't realize that these shoes are expensive to make, especially if you're making them here domestically. And so I'm going to have a different perspective talking to customers when as our shoe prices increase. I'm going to be able to articulate why a little bit better than I would be able to have before, and I can say that I've seen this work being done, and it's not just a machine that puts these together. a number of stages that this shoe goes through, and it takes up to 35 minutes for a shoe to be completed. And you know, a lot of people are involved in that 35-minute process, and these are skilled workers, and you know, I couldn't do it very well. My shoe has a piece of the outsole like sticking out of it, so you know, it's a tough thing to do, and we were really impressed.
That's great. Well, thanks for coming. I mean, after the entire weekend and spending multiple times up here, what would you like to see from New Balance in the future?
I'd like to see more of my employees get exposed to this, quite honestly. I know it's probably an expensive venture, but more of my full-time regular staff, if they could even be sent for a day, day and a half, I think it would be very, very valuable. So I really appreciate the access, and I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I'd love to see more access because I think it's important for me and my staff to see.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, Chris, and thanks for coming up and enjoying the weekend.
Thank you, New Balance. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So we're here with JT Newcomb, fresh shoe school graduate. We're in the airport just leaving a great experience in Boston and Maine. So tell us about your experience at shoe school.
All right, shoe school was transformative. To really see what comes before the box showing up in the store. There's kind of a disconnect for us as retailers, as consumers, as shoe users. You know, you call for a shoe and it shows up, you've got it. And I feel like there's a lot of times that customers don't appreciate the value of the craftsmanship that goes into the products we're dealing. And we don't always do the best job of conveying what's really there, about the effort and the scale and the time and the work that goes into a shoe. Especially brand specifically what we saw in an American factory, to what it takes to put a shoe together under the conditions where there are a lot of workers doing well in a good environment and are excited about their work and loyal to it. It's incredibly impressive, especially for me, appreciating the level of work. I think it took me like 6 hours to assemble a lifestyle shoe. It wasn't even high technical, and obviously people there are doing it much faster than that. But shoes don't grow on trees, and you really appreciate that when it takes you 6 hours to put one together.
Thanks, JT. Let's see what you made. Actually, I mean, let's check it out. Looks great. That's the
1400.
1400. Looks great. I mean, no one really knows that shoe took how many hours to make?
For me, it's just 6 hours doing the upper.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Well, thanks so much for coming up here and experiencing this, and we hope you bring this back to the store and share your experiences and help give a better brand perception to the world. Just one more question for you. What after visiting headquarters today and going to the design studio and sports research lab, kind of interesting features of an American company, what would you like to see going forward from New Balance as a brand?
From New Balance, I think that the development that you guys showed us today is incredible. I think that what we saw with your sports science lab, and then with your developers later, the effort that you're putting into putting smart technology into a shoe is great. Personally, what I'm most fired up about and want to see more of is focus in kind of the Revlite line, the stuff around the 890 and the things evolving out of that 1400, 1600. Really beautiful shoes, and I think that that's the future of athletic performance shoes. I think that, minimalism has been an interesting trend on our market, but I think that the big picture going forward is that trends affect the rest of the shoes we're wearing. When we start to ask for more from less, there are very few people responding to it the same way that New Balance is with shoes like the 890 and the follow-ups to that. And I want to see more of that. I want to see every type of shoe looking more like that.
That's great. Thank you so much, JT. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to doing this again sometime.
Soon.
Take care. All right, we're here with another shoe school victim, Colleen Lester, manager of Pacers Fairfax, Virginia. Tell us about your experience this weekend.
It was awesome. I mean, I've been on vendor retreats before, and I have to say by far this was the coolest. To get to meet people working at all levels of New Balance was really, really interesting and really, really fun. And it definitely gave me a new respect for the manufacturing process. I mean, you see these shoes come out of the box, and it looks like a lot of work goes into them, but to actually see it all and have to make it myself, I am amazed. It's phenomenal.
That's great. I mean, do you see going forward having a different perception of the New Balance brand and kind of giving that to your customers as you take shoes out of the box? You know where they came from?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, not having seen like overseas manufacturing, I'm sure there's a lot of good quality manufacturing going on in different places, but to know that these are made domestically, that all of those people up in Skowhegan have jobs because of New Balance, and you're really, buying local, like we would all like to think we're trying to do these days. I definitely think that, that I would want that if all things being equal, if New Balance and ASICS have a similar product for a similar price. I mean, why wouldn't you want the thing? Why wouldn't you want the product that you feel better about at the end of the day, that supports your own economy and not somebody else's?
That's great. Were your expectations different? Did you see anything there that surprised you as far as the manufacturing process and the people that are part of it?
Not really. I mean, I expected a high quality facility, being that it's in the United States, and it was certainly clean, bright, safe. All the people were very very happy, very friendly. It seemed like they had good working conditions and good policies. So, I mean, I guess that's nice to see. I kind of expected it. I kind of figured that if New Balance was making a commitment to doing this when nobody else was, and they had manufacturing here, then there must be a reason. There must be something, must be something good going on there.
That's great. So now that we today actually went to headquarters and saw the design studio and sports research lab, what would you like to see from New Balance going forward as far as product?
I think the great stuff is coming out for sure. I think the hardest thing from our perspective is when we see lines that are 6 months down the road, or a year down the road, or 2 years down the road, that we really want those to be available now. I think the direction that New Balance is going, using less material and doing essentially the same thing in their footwear, still providing adequate cushion and stability, but making the shoes lighter, more flexible, all that kind of stuff. Better looking. It's all fantastic, and I wish we could have these upcoming models available as quickly as possible, because I think that's the way the whole industry is going. I mean, I hope to not see everybody running in Vibrams 2 or 3 years from now. I hope to see us all just running in footwear that makes more sense, that has less bulk and fluff to it, and is more functional overall. And I think New Balance is definitely going that direction.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming on the trip, and we look forward to more of these.
Thank you.
Take care.